And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We made it in game. Welcome back to the final qualifying match here of IEM Katowice, the European Closed Qualifiers. We are down to 2 players, and only one will make it to the main event, at least through these qualifiers. And if you're in the chat, predictions are going to be open. Place your bets on who you think is going to be the final player to make it in tonight. Here we go. So I do quickly let them know. Predictions open. Beautiful. Spawning in the top right hand corner of our Kione, we have our blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have this South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Again, do apologize for earlier unable to get into the game, but at least we're here in our final best of 5, and I'm ready for the PvP action. I'm ready for this to go the distance as well if it need be. It's gonna be brutal. But yeah, for now we do have 2 gate openers here from SKillous as well as Classic. Pretty standard openers here between our 2 players. Nothing too crazy. No one is going for a gate expand, or no one's going for a proxy pylon out of the map. No additional probes. Everything is looking pretty normal. Second pylon is thrown down from SKillous. Second pylon also thrown down from Classic. So everything is looking as it should. Everything is looking normal. From here, we do have a double Adept opener from Classic, double Stalker from SKillous. This is the first major deviation from our players. With double Stalker, SKillous is going to have, a much more robust start to the game. He's going to be able to fight and go toe-to-toe with these Adepts and gain map control. Meanwhile, the Adepts are looking to bypass these Stalkers and get economic damage done. That's their goal. Especially if we double down and make additional Adepts. We have 2 for the time being, but we can go up to 4, 6, even 8. There it is. We have 2 Adepts moving out. We have double sentry behind this. Okay, so we're not committing to aggression, but SKillous doesn't know that. SKillous doesn't know if we're committing or not to additional Adept play. As SKillous did have control of the Zelnaga, he spots the Adepts and he gets the hell out of there. Behind this, double sentry. So Classic is going to be threatening with these Adepts, yes, hoping to contain, hoping to keep SKillous busy back at home while he goes for sentries to scout the follow-up. We got the power of sentries as hallucination. As hallucinations can get a free scout of your opponent's base. Adepts, they do shade in, but they are denied entry into the main. We can see SKillous fanning out his units, looking for any kind of proxies, making sure that there's nothing hidden out on the map. Oh, as he's looking for a surround. We do cancel that shade. The Adepts, though, they get found, they get caught, and they will get picked off. Good movement here from SKillous. Very nicely done. He gets 1, only 1 for the time being. Meanwhile, we're setting up a proxy. Proxy pylon is thrown down, and this is a 1 base all in. That is 4 gates. It's going to be a 4-gate blink. We could even go for a 5th gateway across the map. Classic is expanding. Little does he know that, okay, he does go for hallucination. Oh, not quite. Wait, what? No hallucination scout yet from Classic. He's still in the dark as to what's going on. He hasn't seen the main. And he should. As there's the warp ins. SKillous reinforcing. Blink halfway done. Classic in a lot of trouble. He's aware though. That's the 2nd shield battery. Immortals are on the way. A robot opener out of Classic. Classic is the defender. SKillous, of course, the aggressor. As he's completely all in. Fully walls off. And Classic has pieced together that something is wrong. Has pieced it together, but that's still a lot of Stalkers. How many? 12 Stalkers! Oh my god. We can dive in. We could try to focus on the pylon itself and try to shut down the Artosis pylon, and then from there focus on the sentries. But what do we go for? 1 shot a Stalker. Decent force field to do pick off one Stalker, or two Stalkers even, of SKillous. We dive on top of the army. We're going straight for the Immortal. The overcharge is bumped, and we barely keep the Immortal alive. Oh my god, the Immortal does survive, and here comes the rest of the army. The Prism to juggle as well. SKillous being bullied out of the natural. That was insane. SKillous losing 8 Stalkers to the 1 of Classic. The trades. 1 for 8. No shot. But again, the power of the overcharge, as well as the control from Classic, juggling back his units, preserving his Stalkers, keeping so many of them alive. We dive in once again, going straight for the Prism. We change targets, we juggle the Immortal, GG gets caught, Classic completely shuts down his opponent and takes game number 1. GG, that was wild. Oh. That was crazy. GG, well played. Classic will take that first game. Thank God someone is everyone is casting, right? I think everyone's joined us. Crazy. Yeah. GG. Whew. And with that, Classic does take a lead. Again, a really solid game there. It was pretty straightforward in a way, in a sense, where, of course, SKillous had gone for a 1-base 4-gate blink all in, and Classic was able to respond quite well, going for a reactive robo, getting into Immortal production, clutch shield batteries as well, clutch overcharges. He does survive. And with that, he takes a lead in this series. Did we lose some casters? Wait, what? No shot, did we? Sorry, I'm just double checking. Yes, Steadfast is offline. Zombie Grub is offline. We lost our NA casters. We had so much English coverage. What happened? What? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it looks like they went offline. That's so sad. So many people left. Did they not? No, they should have known. What? Aye, aye, aye. It's all good. It's all good. As we're getting into game number 2. Getting into that second game and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Down in this series, but it's a best of 5. Still plenty more games ahead of us. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. It is Classic. Yeah, welcome for those that are tuning in. Yeah, I didn't think that. I mean, at the moment, I think it's like a decent time for NA, so I'm a little bit surprised that we lost our NA casters, but if you are tuning in now, welcome. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Plenty of StarCraft going on here on the CranKy Ducklings throughout the weekend as well. After we wrap up with these qualifying matches, I'm going to be going for like a 2-hour nap, and then we're going to be casting KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, is how many hours from now? Is in like 4 hours? 4 hours time, so I'm going to be able to nap for a little bit, and then we're going to go back to casting. Then after that, I'm going to have to nap for a little bit longer, then we're going to be getting into WTL. That's a lot of StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft is going on tonight. And then that leads into the Americas qualifiers. Aye, aye, aye. Here we go. Again, from here, once again, we have a 2-gate opener from SKillous, 2-gate opener from Classic. Everything is looking normal. Everything is looking as it should. The Gandalf jamming. Aye, aye, aye. But yeah, just because we have 2-gate openers all around doesn't mean that it's going to be a standard game. As we saw, SKillous more than willing to go for a 1-base all-in. I doubt he's going to do it again. I doubt SKillous will double down on an all-in for a second game in a row, as we have similar openers. Once again, double Adept out of Classic, and we have double Stalker from SKillous. Too late for NA. What do you mean? Like, what? What time is it in North America? What do you, Canada time. It's 5 p.m. No, it's 6 p.m. No shot. It's 6 p.m. Bobby, what's that? What's PST time? What time is it? 3 p.m. You're all animals. Ay, ay, ay. As we do have a Twilight Council opener from SKillous once again, by the way. Going for the Twilight Council, going for a Blink Stalker-based opener. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they race back home, and it looks like this time we are doubling down. Remember, winding it back, in the previous game, Classic did go double Adept into double Sentry. This time, we're committing to Sentry production. Sorry, we're committing to Adept production, but the Stalkers, they have arrived. Adepts, they reveal themselves. They're looking to dive on top of this. Oh, the Shades are not quite. Yeah, we're going to be pulling back instead as we deal with this pylon. It's going to be a proxy pylon. That is a third gateway. It's a one-base all-in. SKillous doing is SKillous tired? I mean, it is late in Europe. I know that. I know that it is late in Europe, which is why the NA casters went to bed. Kappa. So where we're going for, we're committing. This could be a proxy gateway for a 4-gate blink all-in. Ooh, that is going to be a third. Sorry, that is going to be a natural though. We have expanded. The pylon has been found, and it will be shut down. Meanwhile, Adepts, they threaten the Shade. Oh my god, they almost get in. Gasito, baby, gasito. As again, it's only going to be 3 gateways. We are transitioning out of this. Initially, aggression from SKillous, but he's pivoting away. We're expanding, man. We're expanding. Let's see, the episode will be shading back home. Behind this, we do have a Robo Opener. So it looks like Classic was anticipating an all-in. So just like the previous game, Robo Opener to get into Defensive Immortals, Shield Battery on the low ground. Classic, he's preparing for an attack that isn't coming. As, again, SKillous is expanding. He does have a Stalker army, don't get me wrong, but nowhere near as committed or robust as last game. As Classic should be able to hold on here on onto his 2 bases. With his Twilight Council, he's going to be catching up when it comes to Blink. Blink is done for SKillous, bear that in mind, and he is arriving. And how many Stalkers? We have 9 Stalkers in total. We see the army, we back off. Wise choice here from SKillous. Wise choice. Ooh, as we commit to the Shade. Sentry's going to go down. Big pick off. Now we're going straight for the probes. Aye, aye, aye. Probes are going to get picked off. Massive here. 3 workers go down. We get a 4th as well. And it looks like the Adepts are finally going to be shut down. Good cleanup from SKillous. But Classic was able to actually make use of those Adepts. Sentry, workers. Behind this, Classic getting into his own gateway explosion. 4 gateways, Blink, 2 bases. My eyes are on SKillous though, because again, when it comes to his saturation, he is down 10 workers. Behind heavily here in the economy. Still focusing on his aggression. Only 1 shield battery, not 2, but we do have an overcharge. Oh, shields are triggered. And we can dive on that Immortal as we trigger the other shields. Good control here from SKillous. Force fields are thrown down. Looks like we're going for the shield battery. Yeah, shield battery is being targeted down, which means we don't have an overcharge. Classic's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. Throws down 2 more shield batteries, but this may just be too much. The Immortals, we dive on them. Both of them will go down. The boys are going to have to be pulled. And even with the boys, it looks like it's just too much. SKillous, he has broken the natural base. The reaction too little, too late. And SKillous is looking to tie this up. Across the map, Adepts, they're wreaking havoc. They're killing workers. That's fine and all. But what about this army? We cannot deal with it. Not anymore. The pylon. The Artosis. Okay, thank you. There's another pylon here. We do have another Immortal. It's doing what it can. Going for another desperate warp in of Stalkers as well. Classic still ahead in probes, but only just. Slightly ahead in those workers. 38 to the 32 of his opponents. And it looks like we should eventually force this out, but we just pivot away to the low ground. And SKillous should have too much here. We have reinforcements on the way. Classic, can he hold? If we had a backup Immortal in production, then maybe, but it's just a numbers game at this point. And it looks like SKillous, he has too much. He may have failed in game 1, but here in game 2, he's caught him. Oh. The overcharge barely keeping this alive, repowering these gateways, going for another big warp in. We have 11 stalkers. Soon to be 14. 14 stalkers back. So working our way through, we focus on another one of those stalkers. And the voice is being pulled again for a third time. And it looks like SKillous, again, he has done it. Getting into the main base, depowering some of these gateways, picking up these pylons, diving on the army. Good target firing as well. The probes, they try to mess things up, trying to get us around. But as long as we can focus on these stalkers, then Classic cannot recover. As SKillous has taken a worker lead. It's taken a worker lead. Behind this, third base is on the way. Forge, 2 more gateways. Robo in production as well. SKillous just getting further and further ahead. And Classic, how can he come back here? Dark Shrine, right? Maybe, yeah. There's DTs. Obviously, with Stalkers, you can try to outposition your opponent as well. SKillous testing the waters. Only barely headed Stalkers this time, but again, there's nothing forcing SKillous to push into the natural. From here, he can just settle back, contain his opponents, get further ahead in the economy. We have +1 attack on the way, charge as well. SKillous refining his composition. Classic gonna try to chase him back. Gonna try to chase him out. So yeah, from here, Classic is going to try to recover. Now, again, there's a lot working against Classic at the moment. Like, he's down in base, down in workers, down in army, down in tech, down in upgrades. Is there a chance? When it comes to Blink Stalkers, there is a chance where maybe he can catch SKillous out of position. If SKillous tries to go for like some harassment, for example, if he loses a little bit too much, if he does segment his own army, then maybe Classic can pick him apart. But when it comes to these big head-on engagements, that's where the problems lie. Blink is done. Classic, you can try to rely on his control and his micro here, but so can SKillous. Here we go. SKillous is going to be pushing. Hallucination does spot the army. And we're just diving on forward here. Shield battery is not done. We don't have the overcharge. Not here, not at the third base. The boys, they're always being pulled. Not like this. Charge us coming in to help support as well. SKillous blinking his heart out. He can reinforce on the front lines. Classic blinking well himself. But he's being forced further and further back. And this is just the advantage that SKillous has had from the early game, from the initial aggression. He dives on top of the army. There's 2 Stalkers left. GG gets called, and SKillous will tie it up 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Oof. And yeah, SKillous, he will fight back here. Again, things were honestly pretty close. A lot of it did come down to those 2 Immortals getting picked off really early on. If we did have a backup shield battery with the backup overcharge, then maybe we can survive. But yeah, really nice control out of SKillous, really meticulous play. Does, of course, snowball out of control. With that, we're getting ready here for our next game. Getting ready for game number 3. Gonna be on Golden Aura. Let's go. Catching up with the chat. Time for bed. Classic started his run today at 3 a.m. True. A lot of there were some big Korean names that did start their runs really early on at 3 a.m. I've been sick the past week. Finally went to work today, only to go home after 2 hours because it was COVID among the other employees, and we're not sure if I was infected. Ah, no. Take care, Poppy. Take care. Look after yourself, Ice Town. Look after yourself. But here we go. We're getting into our next game to determine who takes a lead in this series, as we are tied up 1-1 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. Tying it up 1-1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Oh God, we've already been live 5 hours. I was not really expecting this to go on this long. Ay. 5 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, I'll have to set all the alarms. All of them. I should be okay for KSL. I'm a little bit worried for my energy levels for WTL. I think that's my big concern. I think. Maybe I should be concerned about my energy levels for KSL as well, actually. It's gonna be a tough one. If I can get through KSL, then I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But now the probes are being sent out. We have a 2-gate opener here from SKillous, likewise 2-gate opener from Classic. Once again, everything is looking normal for the time being. But we have seen a lot of aggression out of SKillous. Game 1, we had a 1-base all-in. Game 2, we had a 2-base all-in, essentially, where he cut workers very early on, was hyperfixated on Stalker production with his 3-gate opener, and was able to break Classic then and there. Classic just not taking him seriously enough. Neither was I. Neither was I. We sort of have a CranKy 4 GG emote, by the way. Well, one day. We need some ideas for a GG emote. We need some ideas. Like, are they going to be holding up the GG sign? Are they going to be... Do we have ducks shaped like G's? Do we have G-themed ducks? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We should, though. We should. For the time being, double adept. Oh, the turns of table. Let's go. SKillous this time going to be going double stalker. His opponent, Classic this time going double stalker. SKillous going double adept instead. We're going for that double adept. I love that he does actually hide his adepts from this pylon, waiting for the cancel. Then he moves out. So very cheeky moves here from SKillous, keeping his first units hidden from his opponent. Meanwhile, the pylon of SKillous did complete, so we're going to be focusing it down. Likewise, Stalkers have been revealed. Classic going for the expansion. Adepts making their way across the map. We do have a probe slightly in position. Are we going to be able to react in time? Shade's coming in. And we do pull. We do get her just in time. Walling off the main. SKillous is expanding. And we have a Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener here from SKillous. Classic being a little bit more economic, prioritizing his Nexus. So Classic having a more economic opener, SKillous a little bit more tech heavy with a faster blink, only slight. He's going to be working on faster blink. Classic likewise going for a Twilight Council, not a Robo. Stalkers are on the way for both players. For both players. Oh, as we do shade in. Oh my god. Don't quite commit though. Classic was in position. The bait wasn't real. As the shades do continue. And yeah, outside of that, no other forms of aggression. No additional gateways, no fast robos, no fast forge. We're just settling in. This may just be our most standard game so far. We've seen a lot of aggression in Game 1 and Game 2, but here in Game 3, things are calming down. For now. Steps they do threaten the shade. Good force field at a classic. Oh my god. Does catch one of those adepts. Again, it takes 2 adepts to one-shot a probe. We do get 1 probe in the main, but only 1. As the adepts do get picked off. Very nice moves here from Classic. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, across the map, we are looking to take a third. Yeah, that's to be expected. I expect that from both players, actually. Third bases are going to be on the way. Again, a pretty passive early game, all things considered. Outside of the Adept harass, of course. Hallucination gets caught. 2 armies do clash. Bit of a misrally there. 1 Stalker goes down, and 2 Adepts do make their way across the map. Classic throws down his third, so does SKillous. Robos are on the way for both players as well to get into Observers, Immortals, or Prisms. But do we have much at home to defend? The Adepts, they do shade in. The wall! Oh, we could have committed, but no, we go into the natural instead. Regardless, probes are going down. 3 worker kills, pretty good. We shade into the main as well. Not like this, all the way into the main, and this is almost game-ending damage here. 6, 7 worker kills. We're gonna get 8, 9. At the same time, the main army gonna be rocking up here at the third base. Blink is done for both players, but we have force fields. We do have force fields available as well. Classic applying so much pressure. He kills 10 workers, gets ahead. Doesn't kill any of the Stalkers though. They get very low, but they do survive. Good control out of SKillous. He does hold on to his third. You can see here that SKillous has lost 1 Stalker. That was the misrallied Stalker earlier. But outside of that, because of the blinks, neither player has really lost much of anything. Except for the probes. That's the big win for Classic. The probe damage. The worker kills. As a result, Classic is ahead by 10. Ahead by 10 workers straight up. Gateway explosions on the way. Charge in production. It's going to be on SKillous to bounce back. Pressure is on SKillous. Do threaten to push. Again, both players going for a big gateway explosion. SKillous resaturating his bases. Classic working on a 4th. And for the time being, it's still just pure gateway armies. It's Blink Stalkers from once, or Blink Stalkers and Chargelets from both sides. Charge is done for SKillous. It's on the way for Classic. Just now finishing. And Classic with his excess resources, not just going for the 4th, but also going for a Dark Shrine as well. Again, Classic, he can afford these things just because of his lead. While SKillous has been reinvesting into his worker counts, Classic has been able to invest elsewhere. We'll see if it pays off. While Classic pushing forward, diving on top of the Prism. Big snipe, Prism goes down, shield battery as well. The Guardian shield adding so much to this army as well. And Classic, he's just forcing his way through into the third base. Big warping of Zealots. Trying to allow them to go through. Giving them some room. And we may not even need the Dark Shrine. This may just be too much. As we're getting within range of that mineral line. Stalkers are going down. Again, the choke points from these force fields are insane, but we're running out of energy. And now we can just dive on the army. Massive blink forward. The boys are being pulled. But overall, it looks like even if Classic gets forced back here, he's killing so many probes. It's going to be 9 worker kills. With these reinforcements, SKillous, he is going to be forcing this back, but I spoke too soon. The Zealots are coming in. The Dark Templar, the sugar on top. And as they waddle into the mineral lines, and it looks like Classic has snowballed out of control again. We didn't even need the Dark Templar, but GG gets called, and Classic will take a lead in this best of 5. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, again, a big reason, or kind of Classic snowballing out of control, did of course come down to the Adept Harass. Did deal quite a lot of economic damage, and in a mirror matchup, that is huge. That is massive. To kill 10 workers, to be up 10 workers compared to your opponent, is difficult to overcome. We saw that SKillous was playing catch up, and unfortunately was not quite able to catch up. And with that, this means that Classic is one game away from qualifying for IEM Katowice. SKillous has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Oh boy. Here we go. I don't know how many emote slots we have. I think we have like 1 emote slots, I think. 1 slot available, so we'll see what we can do. We shall see. It's gonna take some time. We're probably gonna have to like commission it and all that good stuff. We'll reach out to Shura again. Shura. As it could all end here. Our next game gonna be on Hecate. Here we go. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid down in this series. But looking to fight back, it is SKillous. He needs to win this game here and now to force the ace match. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds, 1 game away from becoming a qualified player for IEM Katowice 2024. It is Classic. 1 game is all he needs. 1 shot. 1 more opportunity. Can he take it? Or will he let it slip? As we should be getting into 2-gate openers once again, I'm curious if SKillous is going to be the aggressor. Or going to be returning to the role of being an aggressor again. It's been a while. Yeah, we had a much more passive game on Golden Aura. Did not work in SKillous' favor. Probe is moving out. See SKillous just checking the gold. Making sure everything is on the up and up. Making sure that everything is as it should be. And there it is. Proxy pylon here from SKillous. And we are looking to commit. I'm curious. This pylon is a little bit further back. This wouldn't be a bad location for a proxy Stargate. A proxy Robo wouldn't be I wouldn't be opposed to it either, but we'll see. We'll see what is done here with the Cyber Core. How hard are we going to commit? Stargate is just to get ahead economically. Robo would just be for an all-in. And there it is, Proxy Robo. The Robo's on the way. Meanwhile, SKillous going for a Stargate opener. Okay. Proxy Robo versus Stargate. Let's go. Classic is going to check. No! No shot. He checks. He sees the Robo. He's aware of what's going on. He's aware of the all-in. With this, he has a choice to make. Now, if we want to be greedy, we can go Oracle first to harass across the map, to harass the mineral line, and then a Void Ray second, or we can go for a Void Ray first instead, just to be safe and secure. We'll see how lucky is Classic feeling. How will he approach this? How confident is he? As Stalkers are arriving, again, it's going to be 3 gateways back at home. We have the Robo across the map. We can reinforce with Warp Prisms. We can start up Immortal production. There it is. Prism is on the way. And we are going for the Oracle first. This is really risky, especially if SKillous goes for a blind shield battery. If there is no shield battery, then we could be in some trouble. There it is. Shield battery is on the way. So this Oracle has very limited capabilities here with what it can get done. Just make Yaku do the emote. Oh, you're an animal. You don't know what you're asking for. As here comes the We're going for a second Oracle? Oh my god. We have shield batteries here on the high ground. Second shield batteries on the way. Building up the Stalker count. God, classic. It's crazy. His goal here to build up 2 Oracles, then we can one-shot workers, which means the shield battery won't be enough. Here we go. The army has arrived. We're forcing away up the ramp as well. Shield batteries are exposed. We only have 2 Stalkers. And the first shield battery is going to go down. Up. Up. Oh my god, it barely survives. Classic, he does barely force back the army. Void Ray now on the way. Again, we could have already had a Void Ray, but again, we're going for some damage across the map instead. We activate the pulsar beams. We go for the one-shots. We go for the probes. We got 5 worker kills. But we work through a gateway. Overcharge is poked, barely keeping the army alive. Classic is holding. Classic does have the slightly better economy. Going down the 3rd gateway. Oracles are going to be going back in. But the Void Ray has arrived. With the arrival of this Void Ray, I feel like we should be able to shut this down. There's no way here for SKillous to dive. And does he expand? That's the question. Does he try to transition? As he is making probes. Oof. 1 Stalker goes down. The Void Ray! Big overextension. Sorry, I accidentally pressed spacebar. Void Ray does go down. Ay, ay, ay. A Stalker as well. A big overextension from SKillous. Sorry, from Classic. And SKillous, he's still in this. He can still pull this off. He can still pull this off. He has high ground vision with that Observer. Robo's on the way for Classic. He still has these 2 Oracles. Spacebar is to go to the base. That's why it shifted away. Do apologize. Classic going for the ninja. Oh my god. Going for the hidden hatchery, the hidden nexus. Another gateway. Looks like it may go down. Looks like we have quarter sentry. Speaking of, we have quad zealots as well. Nice force fields. 2 zealots will go down. Classic down to 1 Oracle. The army supply in favor of SKillous. Classic not making a Void Ray, not making an Immortal, going for a Prism. Again, just really greedy stuff here. And Classic. Can he get away with that base? Can he saturate the base? More importantly. Meanwhile, SKillous, he threw down a Twilight Council. Blink is in production. Looks like we are just catching and depowering this Robo. Immortal on the way. Good force field. We catch the Observer. Robo gets depowered. Classic goes across the map, and he should get eyes on the expansion. He does check. He does see the Nexus being taken. So SKillous is just transitioning out of this. He's just containing his opponent to 1 base. Or he thinks he's containing his opponent to 1 base. As Classic does recall. Does recall the hell out of there. Classic has to be very careful not to drag the army in the direction of his base. Very careful. Stasis Trap is going to be triggered. And Classic is going for an Immortal drop across the map. Bold move, especially considering the Blink is almost done. So SKillous can punish Classic with that Blink. Meanwhile, Classic is on 2 base saturation. So far unscouted. This nation is going to go down. Do drop into the main. Blink is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Oh, And there we go. We do dive on top of the Prism. The Prism goes down. The Immortal as well. A big overextension from Classic. This is what I was worried about. Blink caught him off guard, and this was not worth of a Classic. Losing a Prism and an Immortal, that was huge. That was huge. Like, SKillous is still in this. He may not be aware of the hidden base, but he's still keeping up. SKillous even has the higher worker count. He has the better economy. Back at home. I say better economy. I mean, there are gold mineral patches here. Bear that in mind. So, Classic, he does have a bit of a boost. Oh, Classic. Still just building up his Stalker count. That's turning back around. Robo is depowered or repowered. You can see SKillous, he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, why are you still on one base? Something is wrong here. Something doesn't add up. Something is amiss. Force fields are thrown down. Slow down the army. Classic is pushing. He is moving out. Hoping to depower that Robo. SKillous, he could try to go for a backstab, but no, he's coming back home. He does come across the hidden base. And now he knows. Now he's aware of what's been happening. The jig is up. God, that's so many Blink Stalkers. I think I still favor Classic overall. Adepts, they do shade into the main, but oh, that gateway does wall them off. As they shade into the natural, they still only killed 2 workers. And do we go for a base trade? I think so. Yeah, we're committed. SKillous, he's going for the main base of Classic. Likewise, Classic going for the natural of SKillous. Both players will have recalls available. Shield batteries are on the way. We're getting ready for the base trade. Going for the main. Going for the production. I love this. Going straight for the gateways. Probes are going to be going now. We do force a recall. Classic, can he take a fight? The Prism goes down. The Immortals are being focused down as well. SKillous is going to be popping off, and I feel like we have to get the hell out of here. The Immortals hold the Prism. The Stalker is going toe-to-toe. Army's looking very close here. And Classic is going to be losing this fight. He has to retreat. He has to get the hell out of there. Recalling back home. But he still has gateways. And he still has his main. Was the recall too premature? Because Classic, he can rebuild. And SKillous cannot. SKillous, he is down to 6 probes. He does not have an economy. Not anymore. But SKillous does have a larger army, and he's going for the ninja base. But again, Classic knows that he just has to buy time. Buy time for warp ins. Pylon's going to be going down. The Nexus as well. Looking at the units tab. Classic is down in Stalkers, but he has an Immortal. Classic can win this. He can take a fight. We dive with the Immortal. Oh, the Immortal does get focused down. A big pickoff. And SKillous, he's diving on this. He's getting out of control, focusing down Stalker after Stalker. Keep going, Poppy. Keep going. Forces a cancel on the natural. No shield battery, no overcharge on the high ground. Only workers. 8 Stalkers to the 15 of SKillous. We do have an Immortal on the way. Do have an Immortal in production. But again, I do think that, like, there have been a couple of moves here this game that Classic, he has been overconfident. 100%. Oh my god. Part of it as well, going for the double Oracle. Despite scouting the all-in. Behind this, Classic stuck on one base. Or he still has that ninja base. He can actually go for a recall. He can recall his workers back to mining. Meanwhile, SKillous, he's recovered. He went down to 6 probes. SKillous went down to 6 workers. Now he's back up to 22. There we go. There we go. We do recall to that ninja base. No shield battery. Uh-oh. Shields are triggered. SKillous, he can take a fight. Just has to bring everything together. Oh, good. Classic in a lot of trouble. Does take out the sentry. But additional stalkers are on the way. The boys, they have to be pulled. We dive on the Immortal once again. We can just never have more than one. Stalkers are going down, though. Classic taking a fight. Classic is taking a good fight. Things are so close to you. These probes adding so much. Oh my god. And Classic, has he done it? Classic, he dives on the army. Chases down the reinforcements. Oh, getting another stalker. Oh, forcing his way up the ramp. Classic up in stalkers, but pushing into shield batteries. He cannot do that. Cannot pull that off. And he will back off. And now SKillous takes a worker lead. SKillous ahead in stalkers. And it looks like SKillous is going to be forcing that ace match. I mean, I say that, another stalker goes down. Another stalker does fall. We pull back. There's no shield battery. We do have reinforcements. Oh my god. SKillous up 2 stalkers. Classic trying to mine whatever he can. Oh, I don't think we have a recall. Stalkers, they rock up, they go straight for the main. There's nothing that can be done. And this is where the production is. Base trade. We're going for another base trade. Let's go. It's all or nothing. But we have a shield. We have shield batteries and we recall as well. No, this is still so close. So close here between the players. How many stalkers do we have? Again, SKillous taking a massive lead here. Again, he's got the better economy. Better economy, the larger army. This time, no immortals. We do have a shield battery. We do have an overcharge. Respected, we blink back. Oof. Classic is bleeding out far too much. The overcharge is popped. Classic is trying desperately to hold on. But he's delaying the inevitable at this point. Here come the reinforcements. And of course, we're going the distance. Of course, we have to. We have to at this point. Zell coming in, tanking a lot of shots, to be fair. But it's just far too much. SKillous snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and SKillous ties up the series 2-2. We're going to the ace match. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Once again, a roller coaster ride of emotions here. I do feel like Classic was overconfident. There were a couple of moments, not just the double oracle, but the war prism, the immortal drop. The immortal drop was wild, crazy from Classic. Lost the immortal, lost the prism, lost a lot of momentum as a result. Oh my god. And SKillous was able to bring it back in the end, and now it all comes down to this, the final game of this best of 5, of this qualifier, of this broadcast. On hard lead. Here we go. 1 game left. Oh boy. One game remaining. And I need to set all the alarms. All the alarms, copy. Alright, we're starting in 3 hours and 40 minutes. 2 p.m. I'll have to wake up like half an hour before the broadcast. Maybe that's good enough. 45 minutes? Yeah. Okay. We'll be good. We'll be safe. Here we go. Just getting ready for that final game. Don't blame the players for needing a moment to just recoup a little bit. Just take it in. To calm things down. Because it all ends here. It's done. It's over. And here we go. It's all on the line. It was mentioned before, Classic, he has been playing since 3 a.m. in the morning. I think now it's like 8? It's like 8 a.m. now for him. Oh boy. But likewise, SKillous has been putting in so much work here as well. Fighting back, forcing the ace smash. This could still go either way, and here we go in the bottom right hand corner of Hard Lead. We have the blue Protoss player for Team Liquid, tying up the series 2-2. It is SKillous. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. EU qualifiers have been fantastic. I mean, they've all been really good. They've all been really good. If you missed out on the Asia qualifiers, I highly recommend checking it out. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but of course, cheering hard for players like Firefly and Cyan. DRG versus Bjorn. Oh, that was beautiful. That was. And likewise here tonight as well. Following Kellizer's run was amazing. A little bit bittersweet just because we missed out on the final game. But Kellizer's run, alongside these two players here, Classic and SKillous. A lot of really good games in general throughout the qualifiers. And you know what? It's all going to culminate tomorrow. Because even if you're a fan of these two players, Classic and SKillous, they will have one more chance in the Americas qualifier. Remember that. That regardless of who loses here, they will still have another opportunity to fight back, to claim that spot, as we are going for a proxy. Let's go. Classic. Oh my god, Classic going for a gate expand. Classic going for an economic opener. Oh, never mind. Okay, he goes for a second gas geyser. This should be Stargate before Nexus. Meanwhile, SKillous committing to a proxy. We're popping off. We are popping off. But again, this is the Americas qualifier that starts tomorrow. It's going to be Proxy Robo. It's going to be a one-base all-in out of SKillous. And a Classic. No shot. He should be throwing down tech first. I'm concerned that he throws down the Nexus. If he does, he's going to be in quite some trouble. He's building up for it. It's looking like Nexus. Oh boy. Yeah, there it is. It's a gate expand. A gate expand opener here from a Classic. Ay. We should be seeing a Stargate as a follow-up to get into Void Ray production. We do have the gas for it. There it is. Oh, I see. Going for a Robo, actually. Not a Stargate, so for Immortal production is going to help. But SKillous is starting up his own Proxy Immortal. Stalkers are on the way. Essentially, Classic has to do his best Max Pact impression. But already, if you're familiar with Max Pact, you would know that he goes Stargate before Nexus, and he goes into faster Void Rays to defend. Classic has been greedier. He has been one step greedier than Max Pact usually would be. So here we go. We're going to be dancing with these sentries. Classic up. Oh my god. Getting forced out. Getting forced back. The Immortal has arrived. Reinforcements pushing forward. And with the arrival of this Immortal, we can just start chewing through the wall here. The Cybercore is under threat. Warp Gate is going to finish. Defensive Immortal in production for Classic as well. Good force field. Up. Oh, we do miss the Stalker. The Stalker barely escapes. And now we're going to have some counter force fields available. Uh-oh. SKillous looking to cut up the army of Classic, looking to try to trap some of these units. Cybercore is going to go down. Good force field. We do catch 1, 2 Stalkers. Big pickoffs, and this may already be too much. Overcharges pop, but there's nothing to save. Nothing left. The Cybercore being topped up. Additional gateways are on the way. We need a back. We do have a backup Cybercore. We're going for the gateway. We don't even care. We're going for. We just get it all. We're just gonna get it all. Cybercore goes down. Second Immortal arrives, and it looks like SKillous again. He just has too much. He takes down the gateway, and we are down to 1 gateway and 1 robo. We can warp in 1 unit at a time. It's a Zealot. The Prism. Oh my god. The Prism barely survives, so we focus on everything else, and it looks like SKillous has done it. Classic, he stayed up all night. He played so much. Deep into the hours of the DJ hours of Korea. But it wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it in the end, because SKillous, he's here to rain on his parade. Go to sleep, he says. And Classic says, I have to stay up for KSL. He has to stay up for KSL, Papi. There's another tournament going on. Gateway's going to be going down. A good target firing on one of those Immortals. Big pickoff. But it ends a shade into the mineral line, and we have broken the main base. We have compromised the main. Shield batteries are falling. We're down to 2 units. 2 Immortals. That's all we have left. 1 Immortal. GG gets called. Congratulations. And SKillous will qualify for IEM Katowice 2024. GG. Ah. GG, well played. Congratulations to SKillous. It's been a long night, a long qualifier. Went down to the wire, went down to the final qualifying spot, went down to the ace match as well, and SKillous will be earning that plane ticket. He will be a part of IEM Katowice. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Ah. Oh my god. And with that, we have our final qualified players here for the European Server Qualifier. Very apt to have a European player make it through here towards the end. Very apt. Oh. Here we go. Will any NA players qualify tomorrow? I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I want to believe in players like Scarlet, players like Trigger. I do want to believe, but we will switch our scenes over. We will hit that refresh button as well. And from the top, from the very top, we have Clem, who qualified 3-0 over a laser. Clem not dropping a single map. He was one of the first players to qualify here tonight. Had an early night, actually, an early mark. Scrolling down a little bit further, we had Showtime versus Kellizer. We did cast that series. We casted Showtime versus Scarlet into Kellizer, and Showtime was able to have a much more dominant performance there. Again, one of the best Protoss in Europe does make it into IEM. Scrolling down a little bit further, we had, I would say, a surprising result. A 3-0 Hero Marine over Spirit. Spirit has been dominant over Hero Marine this past year of play. But Hero Marine, he gets his revenge. He does make it into IEM. And at the bottom here, Classic. He 2-0'd SKillous initially. This was a rematch. I didn't even notice. It's a rematch. Classic 2-0'd SKillous. He took the first game against Raynor, but Raynor was able to overwhelm him, overpower him. Raynor qualified over Classic 3-1. And then we have the lower bracket here. Kellizer, he made it over Bunny and SKillous. Those were the 2 matches that we casted. We did cover Kellizer's run. And Diego, he popped off tonight. He did qualify despite the lag, despite the latency. Kellizer, he literally lagged out of a game. He lagged out of a game in that series against SKillous, but still overpowered him, still overcame the might of SKillous. So GG here for Kellizer, for Diego. And at the bottom, oh my god, Classic versus Spirit. Classic went to the ace match against Gumiho, 2-1, and then to the ace match against Spirit as well, and didn't make it. Did not make it. Classic was knocked down, and as we know, went to the ace match against SKillous and almost won it. This was almost like a 3-1 in favor of Classic. Like, that game of on Hecate, that's gonna haunt me for a while. Like Hecate was wild, and SKillous is the final player here to qualify. Doesn't make it through, and Classic does not actually make it into IEM, not yet. But as we mentioned, there is one more shot, one more opportunity. The Americas qualifiers. The Americas Open Server Qualifier is tomorrow in just under 24 hours. Be there, because we will, because screw sleep. Smooch. We're going to be there, and players like Gumiho, Classic, Lambo, a Laser, Bunny, players that did not make it, Scarlet, Strange, Young Yakov, Jeshi, these players that were eliminated, they all have another chance, and I'm sure they will all be in the Americas qualifiers. They'll all be there, which means you should be there too. Again, that is going to be tomorrow, a very intense week of StarCraft. Meanwhile, when it comes to myself and the CranKy Ducklings, is it time for bed? It is 10 a.m. in the morning. I started casting this tournament at 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. It's been 5.5 hours. It is now... Actually, I started casting this a little bit earlier. It's 10:30 a.m. in the morning, and we have a cast coming up. We're going to be casting KSL. The Korean StarCraft League is in a couple of hours. Let me just double check the TL calendar. So if you want some more CranKy Duckling action, we're going to be live in 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I'm going to try and sleep for 2. I set my alarm. I'm going to try and sleep for 2 hours, and hopefully I can wake up. If KSL starts and if we aren't live, it's because I never woke up. It's because I crossed over. But it's over. It's like the light is done. It's done. So we have a KSL in 3.5 hours. So we're gonna be live covering some Korean StarCraft. I would be shocked if Classic is there. I'd be very impressed if Classic is a part of that. Same with Gumiho. Gumiho and Classic, they're regulars in the KSL. But I wouldn't be surprised if they miss it this time. And if they're in bed instead. So we'll see. We'll see if Classic and Gumiho are a part of that. So again, in 3.5 hours, we're going to be live. This was our second broadcast of the day. We were live earlier with WTL, with World Team League. And speaking of, after KSL, in how many hours? 12 hours from this message, we're going to be live again with World Team League. WTL day number 2. It's going to be Team Liquid versus Starlight Twinkle and Mystery Gaming versus the Kwangdong Freaks. So 12 hours from this message. So if you can't tune in for KSL, maybe 12 hours from now, you can tune in here on the CranKy Ducklings for some WTL action. I believe it's WTL, and then we're going to be casting... then we're going to be staying... No, I'm going to be going to bed, and then we're going to be covering the Americas qualifier, which is... Actually, fun fact, the Americas qualifier is 24 hours from now. Almost exactly 24 hours from this message, so that's the Americas qualifier. We'll be back for that, and then we have the OSC 24-hour marathon after that, that we're going to be kicking off with, and then WTL, and then more IEM Katowice qualifiers, then ESL Cup Asia, then all the StarCraft. So, if you enjoyed, hit that follow button. Follow us here on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, follow us everywhere, because we are live constantly on the CranKy Ducklings. We're usually live on a daily basis, at least a daily basis. There are days like this where we're live like 3 times a day. That's just because, yeah, we take pride in that. So we are the channel that is live the most. I think we're more like, we cast more than like Steadfast or Wardy or some of these other casters. We put in the work. We may not have the viewers, but we have the hours at least. We have the hours. So that's how we do on the CranKy Ducklings. That's how we do. We do our best. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We're gonna be heading off here for the night. We're gonna be heading off for the time being. Gonna try and get a couple of hours of sleep. We'll see you guys in a couple of hours for some KSL action. Otherwise, big shout out to SKillous, and wish the best of luck to Classic and all these other players in the Americas qualifier. Best of luck. Best of luck. Alright, until then, I'm gonna go nap for 2 hours. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. A big shout out to iScar in the chat. Oh, predictions. I have to pay our predictions as well. Let me not forget that. Manage predictions. Bam. SKillous did make it. And yeah, enjoy the outro. It's amazing. It's beautiful. We'll see you guys in a couple of hours. Until then, hasta luego. Hasta luego. Bye. Bye, everyone. Hasta luego.
Making history. Absolutely phenomenal.
And Ace is the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters World Finals.
Storm's still not quite done. MC is going to take this fight, though. 3 seconds left.
Last 2 rounds of passion's got to start in well for ESC.
And this is a massive move for Zez, but he's not content with just a Nexus kill. He wants to win.
And it's all done. And Charlotte's winning.
Unbelievable Rogue with a 4-0 victory over Classic.
And they did it again in the Grand Finals. It's Doggy!
Give it up for your